Welcome back, Troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today we have a 2005 Gibson Les Paul Standard Faded. This is a heavily requested guitar, so that's why when I was offered this for the Bill Kelleher Explorer in trade, I thought, well, okay, I guess I should knock this one out. These things have a cult following behind them. Larry Corsa swears by them, and they really are kind of a Gary Moore looking guitar depending on the finish you have. But what makes these stand apart from the other Les Paul standards of this time period is their finish is completely different. Now, they were initially meant to be cheaper to produce and therefore a little bit less expensive new, so it's a great way for somebody to get into a Les Paul standard with, that not breaking the bank. Now, if you were to look at the used market, you'd be very confused all of a sudden, because these things will sell for the same amount as other standards, sometimes even more. But why is that? Once again, it's because of this cult over here that keeps pumping these things up. Many testimonials say that these faded standards sound better than the standard glossed finish versions, because they don't fill the pores in the wood, and the finish is nowhere near as thick as it would normally be, so people say that the wood can breathe and it can resonate better, and that contributes to a better tone. And yes, there is some truth to that. I've had many of satin finished guitars as well as the glossier ones, and I will tell you the satin ones, they do normally resonate a little bit better. But as far as the tone being massively different, I think it just depends from guitar to guitar, not necessarily just the finish. But I am a fan of satin finishes in terms of feel and playability. But there is one thing that kind of stinks about satin finishes, is they never stay satin, and that's kind of the case with this one. See how it's kind of glossy? This one has either been played a lot, which is definitely apparent by its condition, or somebody gave this thing a good polishing job, because the rather dull satin finish has a nice sheen to it, but you still don't have that crazy thick finish. These were made from 2005 all the way until 2009. The first year is the most desirable because in mid-2006, that's when Gibson started chambering these, and that's a whole nother can of worms, guys. But the first year will just have your traditional 9-hole weight relief. Specs on these guys are a 2-piece maple top in varying finishes, a mahogany back with a mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard, and this thing has had a slew of modifications to look the way that it does. That includes a non-original set of 57 Classic that have covers on them, as well as replaced knobs, added thumb bleeds, a newer tailpiece, a potentially replaced pickguard, Schaller strap buttons. So if you like the whole satin finish thing, I would suggest these guitars. Would I pay a huge premium for one of these over the gloss finish version though? No, not really. So now that we know a little bit more about this instrument, let's go ahead and hear how it sounds. Now that we know how this instrument sounds, let's go ahead and review its condition. This instrument is pretty worn. You can see the face of the headstock, it still has its satin finish, but it also has quite a few light nicks and dings. I also do want to make note that there is a smoke odor to this guitar. I couldn't quite place what that scent was, but once Mike demoed it, as soon as he picked it up, he's like, whoa, this guitar smells like smoke. You might think it's weird. How can you not place a smoke smell? But it was kind of like slightly fruity at the same time. I thought it was just a weird polish. So it's not a hardcore smoke, but if you're allergic, don't buy this guitar. The truss rod does work, but the threads are level with the nut. You still have a long way to go, but it's nice to know the status that it's at. The nut has been replaced. Now, the nut is slightly larger than the slot, so you can kind of feel it a little bit, but as far as it being set up right, it is definitely good to go. Your frets do show some minor divoting wear, nothing that really inhibits play that I noticed, and the rosewood fretboard was just conditioned and the frets were cleaned, so you are good to go there. The top of the guitar has lots of scratches and impression marks. We'll just shine the light over it, that way you can see it. And, I mean, the flame top isn't spectacular on this example. It is there. It's more so a plain top in my opinion. I mean, sure, you can get it at choice angles and advertise it as flamey, but the flame is rather weak in person. I'm guessing the toggle switch was replaced at one point in time. If we kind of zoom in here, you can see those tooling marks around that washer. There was likely some other pickups in this at one point in time, because these are non-original 57 classics. Actually, these were issued without covers. And personally, with the faded finish, I almost think that the uncovered pickups look better. The tailpiece, I believe, has been replaced. It feels heavier than a regular one, and it is top wrapped. So if you string this up normally, you're going to want to raise your tailpiece a little bit. That way you're not collapsing your bridge. And in case you don't know what that's for, that's to make bends easier. Some people swear by this. Other people, they're like, yeah, no thanks. My opinion is yes, it does make it feel a little bit slinkier, but personally, I just don't dig the look of doing that. The knobs have been replaced and thumb bleeders have been added to them. So, I mean, this is a very Gary Moore-esque looking guitar. Just flip that neck pickup upside down and you'll be good to go. Back of the headstock, serial number 0237503339, which makes it 2005, which is the first year of production for these guys. You've got some light nicks and dings along the edges of the headstock. I mean, this was definitely probably somebody's workhorse for some time. You've got some stand marks along the edges as well. That's kind of something else that comes with this satin finish, is lots of light impression marks, because you don't have that hard finish to protect against that. In the bridge pickup cavity, it reads LP5F, and that means 50s neck faded Les Paul. Measurements at the first fret is 0.86 inches, and up at the 12th it's 0.975. So that's rather chunky in my opinion. But the guitar, it only weighs 8 pounds 10 ounces, so that's pretty decent weight for a non-chambered Les Paul. Back of the instrument, you can see you've got like an impression mark right there, and then you have quite a bit of buckle worming and rash. But for the most part, it looks clean until you get it in the light. Electronic wise, you still have original Gibson branded pots, but somebody put those green capacitors in there. And obviously the pickups have been in and out, so the solder has definitely been touched up. But you've got some nicks and dings into the guitar down there as well. So the back definitely has some wear. Take a look around the edges. You do have thin binding in the cutaway that exposes the maple cap, and quite a few impressions along the edges here as well. Schaller strap locks, I don't have the counterparts to them unfortunately, but hey, at least they're on the guitar. One less thing for you to install. I don't know about you guys, but I think I prefer Schaller strap locks over Dunlops. The top of the guitar glows the way I would expect to see. It's kind of interesting, this light green color. It brings out the color in the top. Usually you don't see that. That's interesting. Then along the edges, you can see everything is glowing good. As well as on the back, you can see how it glows a little bit more because sweat has absorbed into the finish. Satin finishes are more prone to them wearing off quicker. You can see that's happened a little bit on the neck at this angle. But no breaks, cracks, or repairs to this model. And the headstock is also looking good. This instrument comes in a 90s Gibson USA case. Yeah, it's very similar to what it would have originally came in, but you've got some scratches to the outside Tolex, but for the most part this thing's actually in pretty good shape. As you can see here, you have your case shroud still attached, and a pink interior with a double neck rest and the headstock support. I'm not a huge fan of that thing up there, but that's just a part of these 90s cases. Inside your compartment, apparently I do have the Schaller counterparts for you, as well as a Gibson owner's manual. The case also has that light smoky odor to it. Now when I say light, you can definitely smell it when you open the case, but it's not something you're gonna, sit over in your corner and still smell it from across the room. If you think you might be interested in being the next owner of this first year Les Paul Standard Faded, feel free to check out that link in the description that will take you to the Reverb for sale ad. Thank you Troglodytes for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.